Good morning. Our exports have just come out, so we are going to go over those. This is the E3 Weekly Market Report. Let's first look at cotton, see what these numbers are. Very large number. We just continue to see these large numbers, even at relatively high levels, which would be 70 cents or higher. The number 343,200 running bales. That's up 24% from the previous week and up 15% from the 4-week average. China took 98,800 running bales. Vietnam took 80,700 running bales. South Korea, Turkey took 49,500. But as I look across here, I see Pakistan, Japan. You've got a broad-based demand that we have been seeing at relatively high levels. Now let's see if that's had an effect. Cotton was up 43 just before this. Right now it's up 57. We're at 71.06, 71.09 in the March cotton. Yesterday's high was 71.14, so hopefully we can take that out to the upside and hold. Let's go next to soybeans. Net sales number of 974,100 metric tons. That's down 46% from the previous week and down 40% from the 4-week average. China took 1,047,600. Spain took 100,300. And the Netherlands took 84,400. Now, soybeans were down 3 just before the report. Right now, soybeans are down 4. So a slight negative reaction so far. Corn, net sales of 958,600. That's down 23% from the previous week, down 24% over the 4-week average. Mexico took 480,900 metric tons. Japan took 181,500 metric tons. Peru took 129,600 metric tons. Corn was down 0.75 cents just before this report. Right now, corn is down 0.75 cents, no change. Going to wheat, 568,100 metric tons. That's up 91% from the previous week and up 25% over the 4-week average. Increases were reported for China. China, number one of our takers, took 170,300 metric tons. Mexico took 118,300 metric tons. South Korea took 82,500 metric tons. Just before this number came out, wheat was up 1.5 pennies. Right now, wheat is up 1.5 pennies. No change there. Looking back at cotton, it's right now up 61, trading at 71.11. The high of the day so far is 71.12. Again, yesterday's high was 71.14. Let's take a look at some of the recent price action and kind of what we're looking for in these markets, starting with cotton. Cotton has been, right now, is in the middle of its trading range of the last few weeks. That trading range was a high of 72.43, a low of 69.32. Right now we are pointing up within that range. Expectations are within the trading range we've seen, maybe to expand it some to the upside, 73 to 74 to the upside, and to the downside, 68.50 to 69.50. We certainly see under 70 cents mill buying enough to really tap the brakes as this market starts to decline. We have also seen open interest drop slightly here, or enough over the last week to get back down to a level where the market's a little bit healthier as far as long speculators go. Let's see. Seasonals are pointing up for cotton. Fairly strong seasonal that started back in late November that goes to March. There is a period in the first part of January where the market has a tendency to set back, but then starts to move again to the upside. Soybeans, the range over the last couple of weeks, a high of 10.49, a low of 9.97. Right now we're at 10.09 1/4. We've seen good demand in that market for some time. We saw it again today. We are at a point where we're going to start seeing some of that export demand shift over to South America. We normally do this time of the year. Expect support in soybeans at $9.90 to $10 and resistance at $10.60 to $10.80. Right now that market is trading at $10.09. So we're on the lower end of the range there. Let's see. We've got corn. Well, let me also mention the seasonals in soybeans. Seasonals tend to move up, but be very choppy through the month of December. And the first 10 to 12 days of January are usually a negative period for soybeans, as we see a strong tendency each year for farmers to wait into the first part of the year for tax purposes to sell their beans or sell some of their beans, and that has a negative effect on the market for the very first part of January. Looking over at corn, the range over the last couple of weeks, we've seen a high of 364 3/4, a low of 345 1/2 in March. Corn, right now March corn is down a half at 349 1/4. Looking at basically the same sort of fundamentals as we've seen in soybeans, good demand but a big crop. Should start seeing a shift over into South America for export demand. Expect support in March corn at 340. Expect resistance at 370. The seasonals also point up for corn, much like beans. It has a tendency the very first of the year to have a little setback, not as much as beans do. Wheat, the range in wheat over the last few weeks, a high of 420, a high of 420 3/4, a low of 392 3/4. That's for March wheat. We basically have gotten through a big crop, and it has a tendency to follow soybeans and corn. Expect support at 390 to 395 and resistance at 430. Right now we're at 406, up 1. So that's really some of the comments on the market. This is the time of the year after Christmas, before New Year's, when you have a tendency to be very sporadic as far as the way the market trades, low volume at times, markets that don't necessarily trend but change direction frequently. So we'll see. This is the last year. This is the last day of the year, the last day of the month, the last day of the quarter. We do have a full day today. We're not closing early today, so we will be trading our normal hours. One last look at these markets. Cotton up 70 at 71.19. We've taken out the high made earlier. We've taken out yesterday's highs. Looks very positive for the cotton market right now. We'll see if we can move up into the 72 level. Soybeans down 3.5 at 10.09 1/4. Very close to where they were before the numbers. Cotton again making a new high, up 75 at 71.25, new high there. Corn is down a half at 349 1/4 in March, very close to where it was before the report. Wheat up a penny and a quarter at 406, and just right where it was before the report. So the actions in cotton. We hope you have a good day, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you.